Hey guys, this is Kevin here from my series 12 and 7 to quit pornography. That is the 12 steps in videos that are just 7 minutes or less. So 12 and 7. Quickly, the gist of this program is that if you have been trying very hard, maybe putting up blockers, going to the gym, doing everything you possibly can to try to beat this thing and it's not working, then maybe you're trying too hard. My approach is a less is more approach. And it's not some gimmick. There's still going to be some sort of work involved. It's just that this is going to be a more compassionate, accepting, and loving approach, and not this iron will thing. Anyway, if you missed the first video, which was the introduction to the series, and the second video, which was step one, that's fine. I'll leave the link to each one in the description. But if you just want to spend your 7 minutes on this video, that's all you want today, that's all you want ever, that's fine. I'm going to make this video so it can be understood um, alone. You won't need anything else. You'll be able to watch this and get something out of it. So, going right on. Step 2 from Alcoholics Anonymous reads like this. And I'm reading from AA because it's the original program, but it's the same program for alcohol as for pornography. So, step 2. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. So, there's two parts to this step. There's the power greater than ourselves, and there's the restore us to sanity part. Um, the power greater than ourselves can be a bit. Sorry, I have a fly flying around here. Just ignore that. So, power greater than yourself and restore us to sanity. The power greater than yourself can be a bit more controversial, so let's start with the restore us to sanity. So, if the question is restoring us to sanity, that must mean that in some way we are insane. In step one, we talked about how we are powerless over pornography. We're powerless over the frequency that we use. Maybe you try to quit and you find that you're unable to. Maybe it's a degree thing. Maybe you only want to watch. Now I've got two of them. Maybe you only want to watch vanilla porn, but next thing you know, you're back to hardcore fetishes. You're unable to control your use. And then the other part was unmanageable. Your life is unmanageable because of pornography. That could be something serious like racking up credit card debt, or it could be something more subtle like being anxious and depressed all the time. So, where does the insanity element come in? It's because if you know that you're shooting yourself in the foot with pornography, then why do you keep going back to it? The example that's used a lot is the example of a hot flame. You touch a hot flame and you recoil. It's just rational. But with pornography, you're touching a hot flame and maybe you're trying to get away, but you keep going back to it. Why do we keep going back to it? That is insane behavior. It's not a judgment. It's clearly not rational. Okay? So we need something to restore us to sanity. And because in step one we saw that we're powerless no matter what we do, we go to the gym, we put up blockers, we leave our phone in the living room, we get rid of our phone, no matter what happens, somehow we're getting pornography again. We're powerless. So obviously what we're doing isn't working. So we need something outside of us, something greater than us that can do it. Now, I like to be extremely broad because the only limit that's on this thing is the limit you put on it. Okay? That's important because um, there you do have a part in this, and perhaps your part is remaining open. And if you've reached low enough, then that's the moment where you're going to be open. In fact, they call God, G-O-D, the gift of desperation. You're so desperate, you're open to anything. Okay, so being open is important in this thing. So no limits except the limit you put on it. You could be super religious. You could be a Christian, Buddhist, Jew, Muslim, Hindu, anything. Okay, and the important thing is not that you just do the dogma, but also that you start to trust your God or gods with this problem. You start to think maybe God can help me take care of this thing. Maybe I don't have to do it alone. That's one extreme. If you don't like that language, then there's still other alternatives. Let me start in the middle. Then there's people who think, well, life has a way of taking care of itself. We're all connected. Um, Nature is in harmony. It's sort of a pantheism type thing, or just trust in life in general. That could be more of a middle of the road type thing. That can work also. And at the very bottom, you have the people who are like atheists, hardcore, who don't like this language at all. I would reckon that even for people like that, if you're not into the God thing, I, I like to use the example of love. Have you ever felt love? And maybe you've never had a romantic love. It's a common problem for people in with this pornography issue. It was for me as well. But perhaps you felt the love of a teacher, a love of a family member, a love of a friend. At some point in your life, I hope and I reckon that you felt love, and that love is something that is bigger than you. Okay? It's not something where you said, I'm gonna love my dad. You can love as a duty, yes, but if you truly feel love, that is something that you don't have control over. So that is something bigger than you. And just even basically, you can think of it as a sort of a relaxation thing. All right, I don't have control. Good. Even that is just a logical, basic, all right, I can relax, I can let go, I can take my hands off the wheel. So, whether you're up here with super religious or down here, hardcore atheist, or somewhere in the middle, the important thing is that you cannot fix this thing. If you're not convinced of that yet, then maybe you need to do some convincing. But if you are convinced, then now's the time to think, what maybe there's something greater than me that can do this. And the last part, it says we came to believe. So if you're not sure, think about it. Okay? And remain open. All right, thanks guys. See you in step 3.